Hi everyone, today we are going to look at civil disobedience and resistance. What happened when the law is unjust? Do we still have an obligation to obey, or is resistance a moral duty? Civil disobedience is the act of publicly, deliberately breaking the law to protest injustice. It's usually nonviolent and symbolic, a way to appeal to the conscience of the society. It asserts that sometimes obeying the law sustains injustice, and that breaking it may serve a higher moral order. Henry David Thoreau coined the term in 1849. He refused to pay taxes that funded slavery and the Mexican American War. For Thoreau, the individual's conscience is higher than the state. He asked, why should we let the government make us agents of injustice? Later, civil rights leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. developed the idea further. In his letter from Birmingham jail, he wrote that unjust laws are out of harmony with the moral law. He drew from the Christian ethics and natural law to argue that a law that uplifts the human personality is just, while one that degrades it is unjust. To disobey unjust laws respectfully and openly is not to disrespect law, but to affirm a deeper kind of justice. Civil disobedience contrasts with revolution. It works within the moral framework of a society, aiming to improve it rather than overthrow it. But when does protest cross the line into disruption or disorder? Can civil disobedience be justified in democracies that already allow legal protest? And how do we judge the morality of different tactics? Philosophers like John Ross argue that civil disobedience is only justified in a nearly just society when legal means of change have failed and that act is public, nonviolent, and appeals to shared political values. But others, especially from the colonial, feminist, and radical traditions, argue that law itself often opposes unjust hierarchies and that marginalized groups may need to challenge the very legitimacy of the system. Resistance also takes many forms: strikes, occupations, whistleblowing, art. It can be slow, loud, silent, or poetic. It asks us not just whether the law is fair, but who the law is for, and whose voices have been excluded from the conversation. Next episode, we'll turn to ecological thought and the politics of the planet.